Hey, welcome back. How's your project coming along? So we are loading content. We're making AJAX requests, and we're continuously loading new content onto the page. And I've opened up the Elements Inspector for Google Chrome in order to see what's actually happening here within the page content. So when I refresh it and go into the section container, the main content, this is where we're loading the content into. And as we scroll down, so when we scroll down to the bottom of the page, we're continuously loading additional content into that element. So going down to the bottom, it will load more content, more divs. So we want to have a message area to the user so that they know what's happening. And the message area we can place just outside of this div. So if we add it to the section, this is an ideal spot for this. And I'm going to create it as an element. And the reason I'm doing this is because we're going to continuously reload it. So I'm going to call it page message, and using the document create element, creating an element and create a div. And then within the page message, we can have some text content. So text, and this will update, and then we'll also update the styling, hiding and showing this element. So page message text content, scroll to load more content. And I'll put some dashes there. And you could also use like a scroll, a loader, or something else as well. So just going back into the page, let's do a page refresh. And we've got our main content. And then we go to the bottom of it and we need to still add that in. So we need to append that message container to the main page main. So go into the bottom, and we're doing it underneath when we append the container. And the reason is because we want it to actually sit underneath. So page message element is going to be added in underneath. If we do it on top, then it will add in on top, and it's obviously not going to make any sense to be added in on the top. So now when we scroll down, we've got scroll to load more content, and then that disappears, scroll to load more content. So we need to make it more flexible as well, because we might not have more content to load. So that means that if it is null, then we need to just clear out the content. So how about we update the contents of page message, and whenever we load, whenever we make the request to get courses and get content, and we make the fetch request, we're going to update this to have text, and we're going to overwrite the existing content. So text content is loading, and I'll do a bunch of dots there so the user knows that something is happening. So we've got loading, and then this will, or should change, so we need to change it back as well. So once we reset this to true, we can change it back to that initial message. And you could add this as a variable, so you don't have to keep retyping it. So that's another option. Or if you want to customize those messages, so I can say whatever page we're on, page, and then I'll include the page number. So I'm going to do it this way, where I'm concatenating the page number, or we've got the value of page. You can also do it in a template literal, so that the user knows that what we're actually loading. So we've got loading, and then if we scroll down, but if we don't get quite to the bottom, we'll see that there was page 3 and page 4. So I keep scrolling a little bit too fast. So let me do it slower, and we should be able to see the message just before it scrolls additional content. So we've got page scroll, page 5, scroll to load more content. And we could say something like scroll down to load more content, or whatever. So now that we've got this value, and if it's not, then what we want to do is we're going to keep the page loader to false, but it already is false coming in. But we should update this to, we could actually hide this, so we could apply a style of display none. Or we could have a message that everything is loaded. So it's up to you, however you want to handle that. So I'll keep it at none. And then let's change page to 15, and we'll see what page we're loading. And that's it. So it's not going to load anything past that. We'll try that one more time. So loading, and we scroll down, and we should see what page we're on. And then if we do get to the bottom, of all of the available content, then we're not going to have any message anymore. So it's going to add the display none. So that's going to be added in there. So there's a number of ways to handle this, and it's up to you how you want to do this as well. Every time you load a page, you could add in some additional content into the post message area, or you could update as well with when you're creating the elements before you're appending. So you could have some additional inner HTML there between different posts if you wanted to. And you can also update every time you do the request to have additional content between the HTML elements.